What's up, everybody? So, today we're gonna be talking about some nonsense that keeps happening with Muslims, unfortunately. Now, I want to make something clear, guys. I'm not here to insult Muslims, a group of people who belong to a religion, or disrespect any group of religion or a group of people or whatever, or discriminate. Guys, I am not, that's not what I do. Now, I do, however, go off on certain people who act very hypocritically. And by some mysterious chance, they happen to be, most of the time, belonging to a particular group of people. Okay, so I don't want you guys to confuse what I do talking about Muslims or the hypocrisy of Muslims in this case as some Islamophobia, or I have a problem with Muslims because they're Muslim, or no. In fact, uh, quite a lot of people who I've met in my life, because I grew up in a Muslim country. So everybody there was Muslim. And of course, I knew Muslims from all over the world, not just in my country, but for the most part, they are very sweet people, very friendly people, really, really caring people, really humane people. I met a lot of them like that, okay? So and growing up, all my friends were Muslim. Like my friends were not like atheists, Buddhists, or whatever. And I mean, I met people like that much later. But growing up, a lot of my friends, like the majority of my friends, were Muslim. And even though they knew that I was not a believer in their religion because I left it, or maybe I was never part of it, as they said, as a lot of people say, oh, you were never Muslim. Okay, you know what? I kind of like that. So therefore, if I was never Muslim, no one can ever really blame me for uh, for speaking against Islam. You know, because in the Muslim world, they have a problem with you if you're an ex-Muslim speaking against Islam. But I'm not an ex-Muslim, right, guys? I was never a Muslim, I guess, from all these experts who are the true Muslims, right? So I was never a Muslim, so it's fine. In this case, it's fine that I speak about Islam, against Islam. Uh, no problem, right? You know, and so having said that, although a vast majority of them are sweet and kind people, somehow when the matter of religion is brought up, they switch. The vast majority of these kind Muslims and Muslims in general, the vast majority, more than 99% by far, maybe not 100%, okay, I'll grant that, but for the most part, they just turn into these lying, hypocritical, deceiving, uh, double talking, cowardly, fake, uh, bearing false witness, all these things, just all of a sudden just pour. And it's like we're dealing with some kind of entity instead of the person himself. Every time Islam is brought up. And I had this happen even with friends from my part of the world who have left Islam. They don't even believe in Islam. But somehow, for some strange reason, whenever Islam is brought up, like for example, I was talking about Islam or having arguments with Muslims on my social media, And these friends, and even my dad, you know, who's a who's a open atheist, coming from Islam, but he's an open atheist. One of the other ones was my teacher from we used to call him Mr. Hisham. Now he blocked me. He blocked me because just because of that. You're attacking Muslims, and I'm like, dude, why do you even care? Like, I'm not attacking anyone, first of all, but why do you even care? Why do you care so much about me being against Muslims ever? Oh, just leave them alone, man. Why you want to be right, and why do you want to be? I don't want to be right, man. I'm just talking, bro. They confronted me with certain things, so I'm answering them. But I guess anyway, I don't know. So and then they just go off, and they're like, they also like switch. It's kind of like they're possessed by something. Like they're all hypnotized. Like all of a sudden, when Islam is brought up, all of a sudden they're just like hypnotized by the same spirit, by the same force. Whether they're practicing Muslim, non-practicing Muslim, or not even believing Muslims. Incredibly, it's crazy, incredibly. Like my own dad. He's not a Muslim, but he always told us, "Oh, I admire Muhammad because of how he was thinking and what he was saying, and he was a wise man and this and that." And I'm like, "Are you serious, bro?" I can see that Muhammad is his role model, even though he's an atheist. Like, how insane is that? I don't even see anything as of a role model figure in Muhammad. Like, why didn't he say, "Oh, you know what? Jesus is a really good role model, man. He was this, he was that." So I guess when you have a hypocrite as your role model, you become a hypocrite. I guess that's how it works. Because all these people who say he's a good role model, when you start talking to them about these things, about why is he a role model, how can he be a role model when he did this and that and said this and that and did this and that, which clearly shows that he's not a good role model. And then you immediately see these people start defending him, even when the proof is right there in their face. Like, he's not a good role model. Look, can a good role model do this? Like, things that you cannot even like defend at all. You know, like taking women captives as sex slaves. Like, so many things, man. Like, like taking his son's wife, away from his son, just because he wanted her, because he's the prophet of Allah, right? He can do whatever he wants, right? Like all these things, and he was incredibly suspicious of people, even suspicious of Aisha, his wife, when when they were traveling in the desert, and then she had to stop to pee, right? And one of his companions stayed with her because he doesn't want to leave her alone, because it's dark and she's all by herself, and Prophet Muhammad was really suspicious of that. And then when they came back, he was like, Did you guys do something?" And they're like, "No, of course not. We just he just peed and we came back." He was incredibly jealous, incredibly possessive, incredibly insane, because only an insane person could do that. No man who's sent by God can be this way. And then afterwards, when he got some, because I can't really remember the hadith, guys. I'm sorry, but it's there. Anyone can read it. Anyone can read it. When he got some kind of confirmation from somebody, I forgot who it was, and he was sure that nothing, that Aisha didn't cheat on him or whatever, and his companion didn't do anything against him. Then he's like, "Oh, you know what? A revelation came from God and told me that you guys didn't do anything." Like, how dishonest could you be? Seriously, how dishonest could you be? And I mean, my dad, my my very dad himself, just recently told me, "You know what? I don't believe that Muhammad was a liar or deceiving. I think he just really believed in what he was saying." As did a lot of people that time when they just they just believed in these spiritual things and revelations and stuff. Like I don't think he was lying. Like why would you like give this kind of person the benefit of the doubt as to say that he I don't think he was like ever a liar. He's just he was just poor guy. He was just saying what he believes when we could clearly see that he was dishonest. And and again we could see it in his followers. You know, his followers who are honest, they do exist, but they're exceptions. They're not the rule. When the exception is good and the majority is not, that does not mean that they are good because of the prophet that they follow. It does not mean that they are good because of of the good religion that they follow. It does not mean those things. It does not mean that they believe in a God who is righteous and that's where they get their righteousness from. No, you can't have it both ways, man. When the majority of people following something, it could be anything, religion, a doctrine, an ideology, whatever. Something is wrong with them. They're not honest. They're hypocrites. They would not say the like if you talk to them and debate them on their stuff and you show them that there's some certain things that are wrong, man. Like how can this exist in your religion? How can your own prophet say do this or say that? And all they do is, oh, man, like at that time it was normal, man. Like, hey, you know what? You have a that's what happens in war, man. Like war, you get captives and you yeah, but we're talking about the prophet of God, man. The God that you believe in. The last prophet of God. This guy, okay, for you in your religion is like the best of people of the creations of God. Don't tell me that it's normal that he did these things because everyone does this in war, you know what I mean? Like everybody kills in war. Everybody like takes women captives for sex slaves. You know what I mean? Like why are you complaining, man? Like come on, everybody was doing this. That's the point. Is he like everybody? If he's like everybody, then he's not really a prophet. He's not really a special guy. Our Jesus in Christianity, you know, he never did anything like that. And I had my dad and my brother, like we were talking about these things when I started going to church before I left my country. And I didn't know much about Christianity at that time, you know. And we were talking about like what Muhammad did and stuff, and like all the people he killed. And he was like, my dad was like, hey, you know what? Like Jesus would have done the same thing if he had the power. And I didn't really know how to defend that because at that time I didn't even know what was happening to me. If I was gonna become a Christian, if I was becoming a Christian, I had this calling and I went to church and I just I was following it and I didn't and I was just taking it all in little by little. So I didn't. And then later, so when he said that, it kind of bothered me. I was like, I don't think Jesus would ever do that. And later, it was confirmed to me that when Judah betrayed Jesus, he could have easily told his companions, "Hey guys, go get him and kill him." Just like how Muhammad told his companions to go and kill one of his other companions who 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 uh, who simply criticized him. Brother Rashid, in on the PBD podcast mentions this. I can't remember the reference, but you guys can go back and check the podcast with Patrick David, PBD, Valuetainment. He had on his panel Rashid, the Moroccan Christian, and some other like two Salafi Muslims and some other Christian, and they were debating back and forth. And he gave the verse. He gave sorry, not the verse, but he gave the hadith. And he even gave the name, like which companion of the prophet did that, and he gives like the references and stuff. So anyway, It's crazy. So today we're gonna talk about one of those crazy things. So, guys, I was, I never, astaghfirullah, I never thought of doing that. I never thought of speaking about this. This is about one of my childhood friends from Malaysia. Of course, I'm not going to give his full name, but anyways, he left Morocco a long time ago. We've been in touch back and forth, a little here, a little there, but in the recent years we were more closely in touch. And now I'm living in Southeast Asia, so we were trying to meet up, and we were trying to get back together and just see each other again. You know what I mean? Like it's been a very long time since we met, like almost 25 years. At least. And I think we were like 14 at the time, 13 or 14 at the time when he left, and and of course he's Muslim. He's a Malaysian. He's a Muslim. Most Malaysians are Muslim, and so for a long time I used to think that Moroccans, because I lived in Morocco, were kind of crazy. But then I start seeing that what, it's not really Moroccan. It's not a Moroccan thing. It's a Muslim thing. Now, guys, for all those Muslims who I love and who love me and who are my friends, guys, if you hear me say things like that against Muslims, please, it's not against you personally. It's not my fault for saying that about your people. It's your people's fault for giving that image about themselves. So you might be an exception, and I love you for who you are because you're not like them. You might not be like them. If that's you, that's good. But I'm not talking about you personally if you're not like that. I'm talking about those who are like that, who are the vast majority. So let's just take that out of the way, man. Um, so, oh man. Anyways, me and so my friend's name is Ahmed. His name is Ahmed, and we've been talking a lot back and forth, and and several times I've noticed he was being dishonest whenever we speak about religion. He's open about he's open to speak about religion, and every time I kind of corner him, like he says something that I know doesn't exist in Islam. Like this is not even me trying to convince him that he's wrong about his religion. Like we haven't even got there. We're just talking about what his religion says. And he starts to say some nonsense, and I'm like, "Hey, man, you sure?" "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, show me." "Oh man, I don't want to talk about this. I know it's gonna get. I know you're not gonna understand. We have to meet each other. Like you gotta come to Malaysia." And I'm like, "Brother, are you okay? You said something, and now you're backtracking, and you're like, oh no, you're trying to say that actually, I don't understand. Like I don't understand. And it's just there. And okay, show me, please, show me. No, you have to understand with your heart. Like, oh my god." So anyway, lately he did something like that again, and several times in the past, we argued. Well, I lashed out on him because I the thing is I hate hypocrisy and I hate liars. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I have an issue that I must solve, right? That I must. I think I don't know. Like maybe it's a disorder that I have. Maybe I need to see a doctor so he can cure me from my hatred of liars and hypocrites. Maybe I should become someone who's okay when people lie and act like hypocrites, especially when they're your friends, right? Friends of mine or people I consider very close, right? I think me having a problem with them being hypocrites, I think it's a problem. I think it's my problem. Like something is wrong with me, right, guys? Something is wrong with me. I can't even handle hypocrites. Yeah, something must be wrong with me, guys. Just like what my friend Ahmed told me. Something is wrong with me because every time we speak about religion, I start getting aggressive, as he said, and something is wrong with me. And so lately it happened again. Lately we were talking. One thing brought something else and everything, and talking about meditation, and he showed me a picture. He was meditating. I was like, okay, what posture is that? Like, do you know what kind of posture is that? And he has this. So let me just give some context. Ahmed follows a certain school of Sufi Islam, which is very different from the mainstream Orthodox Islam, and you know, it's all about like understanding things with your heart, and actually the truth is like you can come to the truth from your perspective with Jesus, and he can come to the truth from his perspective with Buddha, and but actually the truth is one, and that truth is just Muhammad and Allah, and you guys call him something else, we call him something else. Fine, sure, okay, because in a way, it's kind of true, right? But so he used to tell me a lot of the times that, yeah, like we don't like a lot of Muslims, like most Muslims, Orthodox Muslims, don't consider his school of thought as being true Muslim, you know, and so he's very different than Orthodox Muslims. So we were able to talk a lot about different stuff pertaining to spirituality. So lately, we spoke about him being, meditating and stuff, and he's like, yeah, man, like sometimes when I used to meditate, let me try to get this up, man, because it was on WhatsApp, and I would like to show you guys, because I don't just want to say it. I want to show you that. I want to show you that the craziness. By the way, guys, let me check if there's anybody online. I know I'm not really famous, so a lot of people are not really looking at my lives, but if you are, I appreciate it. And if you chat, if you like to chat, if you like to put something in the live chat, I would appreciate it too. But yeah, let's get back to business. So let me just bring this up, Ahmad. Yeah, because this guy is nuts, man. Anyway, okay, I guess this is good. All right. Do this like this. Hold on. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I guess this is okay. I guess this is okay. All right. Hold on. So let. Yeah. Hold on. Let me take this off here. All right. Yeah. So this is. All right, guys. So if you can see on the left side of the screen, that's my uh, that's my conversation with Ahmed. Okay. So let me just oops, sorry. Okay. All right. So anyways, let me go up to where it all began. So some of it is audio voices, and anyway. So this is, yeah. So this was like an AI picture they sent me, and reason why I'm talking about this, man, because I got quite fed up, and every time I try to talk to him about it, he just runs away. It's so ridiculous. He just runs away, and I know that he doesn't want anyone else to see what is being said between me and him. He doesn't want any witnesses because he knows that if there's witnesses, he's he's destroyed, right? So anyway, so here he's like, yeah, man, the volcano, whatever. What? So here, if you guys can see here, I'm asking like, what posture is that? Posture is that? Yeah, just instruct a random command. I'm a late, whatever. No, hold on, sorry guys. Most of them will try. Okay, so here it is. This posture is normal for me. Sometimes I do like that. Sometimes just place the hand on the knee on rest. Either it is okay. The most important is to relax and meditate. My master taught me. Okay. Sometimes I wear turban, sometimes I don't during meditation. Sometimes I wear a normal cover on head. Yeah. But most times I don't put anything. But when put turban on, the energy is something else, much stronger. most of the time, it will attract this creature because they see the light in me, in their dimension. That is why they come just to see, because they are wondering what is the light. That is when I get to see different types of them, unable to explain with our human words, because they look nonsense. He he he, just laughing. Okay, so all these things that he said, I already knew them because I was, before joining Christianity, before joining Jesus, I was, for a very long time in my life, I got very deep into mysticism and spirituality and all this kind of stuff. So I know, I studied very deeply the spirit world, uh, coming from a place where I didn't even believe any of this stuff existed until I started getting these visions, and I wanted to know more about it. So I went and joined, or not joined, but went to learn yoga in India, and then I got into mysticism and all these things and the spirit world and energies and all these things to really really understand what's going on. So I know that these things exist. By the way, guys, for you guys watching who think this is not true, it's fine, man. I'm not trying to convince you, but yeah. Anyway, it's okay because I was there. I was there too. I completely understand. I was there. I did not believe in any of this spirits and all these things. I didn't believe in it, but now I. It's not like I do believe it. Now I know that I know it's true. I know, and a lot of people do. A lot of people do. So talking about whether it's true or not, that's for a whole other video. And I made a lot of videos talking about these things in the past, especially in Arabic. So I'm not even ready to talk about that anymore. It's a waste of my time. If you want to find out if these things are true, there's a lot of ways you can find out on your own time. So anyway, I answer him that posture is wrong. Okay. Uh, I might be wrong about this, but I don't know that posture. So he, yeah, I don't. I mean, yeah, that's not like these mudras that you do like this or like this. Like a lot of them have a lot of them have a like each mudra, each hand position or posture that you do while meditating has its own like reason behind it why you do that. Like it's not just like random, just just do this or do this or do this or do this. Like there's a whole science on how to do it properly. And of course, I'm not an expert on those things. I just know in general what it means because I didn't really like. Unfortunately, I really wanted to go deeper in every little detail, but yeah. Anyway, no worries. So I'm like, yes, for the turban. He's like, oh yeah, whatever. Which one do you see? Oh, so I asked him like, which spirits do you see? And he's like, yeah. He says like a lot of them. Anyways, he says yeah, a lot of them, different kinds of them, and they look weird and they're like curious to see like what's going on because when you meditate, you're like there's light coming out of you, but and they come and they want to like come closer to you, and they look weird and they look scary and stuff. So he's talking about jinns. So jinns are like ghosts basically. It's not like angels. It's not like higher beings. It's just spirits that are just lost, roaming around. It could even be, like they're not really like some of majority of them are neither harmful nor beneficial, but they're just like people. They're just walking around, mainly lost after the person died. The person himself or herself kind of roam around the place because they don't know what to do or where to go because they were not ready to die or they. There's a lot of cases like that. Anyway, so I told him those dark forces, because he spoke about dark forces. So those dark forces cannot come to you when you are full of light. They can only come to you when you are full of darkness. And he started laughing. Ha 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 ha. I said, yeah, it's true because actually I know this. Like when you are full of light, really full of light, No dark forces can ever touch you. No dark forces can ever come and engage with you. They can't. They just can't. That's a fact. So, so I told him that, and he's kind of like, just, haha, yeah, haha, you know what I mean? Sure, sure, ha, you know, that's how he speaks. And I'm like, sure? Like, yeah, I mean, if the bad ones, bad intentions, they can't come near. Those are just curious to see. They can see, but can't come closer. Okay, but that's not what you said in, I mean, they are just like humans too. They are good and bad. Yeah, but so I told him. So why do only the bad ones come to you? Because he didn't mention anything about the good ones coming. They consist bad and good ones. They look awful. That is their look. It doesn't make sense how they look. So he just goes on babbling. He's an expert at babbling. Blah 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 blah. Doesn't say nothing. You know what I mean? And never engages with the question, especially when it's about to show him that he's speaking nonsense. I have few good ones always with me. They don't do bad stuff. We just instruct them. Don't let them control you. Wow. So he has good. So you see what he said here. He has good ones with him, who are always with him. Don't let them control you. So if they control you, that means they're not good. Is basically what he's saying. Okay. So uh, they are like humans too, but bad ones can turn good when we advise and teach them. You're talking about jinns, right? He's like, yes, sir. So not angels, I said. He said jinns. They are attracted to the light, like us. When we are at night sitting, hanging out, you see, like he always just thinks like he has something interesting to say. Yeah, man, you don't understand, but I'm gonna tell you, blah blah blah. Like, and at the same time, he's like, oh man, I don't know, I'm not an expert at these things. I just know very little, giving like false humility to himself. You know what I mean? But at the same time, being so arrogant. A lot of Muslims do that, by the way. So he says, when we are at night sitting hanging out with friends, suddenly we saw a light coming from somewhere far and we are curious. Then we say, hey, let's go check that thing out. The fuck is that? Then we go and check out. And I'm like, is that a reason to work them? He says, oh, there's no need to work for them. So I said, not work for them, but work them. So the reason why I asked that, because that's the term that we use in Arabic. Like, you work a spirit, you work it, or work him, or work her, or work it. It means you use the spirit for something. So he said, I will send an audio about this. Hard for me to type. Do you? Okay, so I say, do you know what? Do you know that it is actually haram? So I'm saying this not for me, not for myself, because I'm not a Muslim. Although, of course, I also don't agree with working any spirits, any jinns. Even before coming to Christ, I was against it. Because even in yoga, we do understand that it is not right to do that because jinns are kind of like children. They're not, they're not really like mentally there. They just go by tendency. Like when a when a disembodied being leaves its body, it goes by tendency. So if that being, that human being, for instance, has reached a high level of awareness in their life, now when the time comes for them to leave the body, now they are the level of awareness will function according to how aware they were during their life. Most people are not that aware, so when they die, they just go by tendency. So, for example, one person was living in life and he was just driven by money or driven by women or driven by food or whatever, or violence or anything. And now they die. That soul, which is now detached from the body, has, you know, doesn't have an awareness higher than the human instinct or the animal instinct of I want food, I want sex, I want, you know what I mean? They never touched anything higher than that. So at that point, they would just anywhere where there's good food or nudity or sex happening, that kind of energy, they would just be drawn to it. Like they don't have any control over themselves. So people who know how to work spirits, they know how to trap spirits and take them and do things with them. Like it's kind of like using a slave, you know. It's kind of like using a child who doesn't know life yet, and they're just discovering life and they're just going with whatever. And you take a child and you just use them as a slave. It's the same thing when you work a spirit, and therefore it is very unadvised to do so because it is abuse. It is considered abuse. So instead of doing that, we pray for them. We help them to free themselves from those tendencies so that they can move on and reach a higher state of awareness, where which is also what is referred to as the light, or they may reach that state of higher light, or uh, where they know where they should go, and their purpose is revealed, and they can now see a way forward. Okay, so let me just come here, guys. Let me check the. Okay, so we got 4 views now. I know that the time difference doesn't help too, because when it is daytime here, it is nighttime in the States, for example, and people who the majority of people who might understand me and like to watch my videos are are all asleep. Europe, Europe is awake now, but yeah. Anyway, guys, I really wish that I could start getting more views, and I can like engage with a lot of you. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I know it's a little slow. I mentioned getting a better camera. Now I just got to get a good SD card for that, so that I could start making videos, and hopefully I can stream live videos with my new camera and make a bunch of amazing videos for you guys, so that so that people can just feel more encouraged to watch. Because at this point, I know the image is not great. I know the sound is not always great. Uh, so people who watch my videos, they watch it mainly for the content of what I'm saying, what I'm talking about, not really for the quality of video or audio, unfortunately. So anyway, let's continue. So I told him, "Do you know that is actually haram?" He's like, "I'm not interested in doing that. I mean, I said, "Well, you said you do, like, because here you said so. Okay, so this is another example what Muslims would do. So like he over here he said it. I have few good ones always with me. They don't do bad stuff. We just instruct them. We just instruct them. So he works with them. If you instruct them, that means you're working with them. I'm sorry. Why do you feel the need to instruct them at all? You know what I mean? So I showed him like where he said he does. You said you have few good ones always with you, and that you instruct them. So here he just goes on talking for like almost 10 minutes, just nonsense. And I tell him, I already know these things. These are generational jinns. So here he was just talking about, yeah, what I mean, like there was some jinns that were with my grandfather, and when the person dies, they don't know where to go, so they attach themselves to the son and the son of the son, and to just like the generation. And so I told him, yeah, I know those things. They're generational spirits, or maybe ancestors too. Like who knows? They could be ancestors. Like ancestors also can watch over uh, their family members, but also you can also have some spirits who are attached to your family members through your lineage, and they may not always be good ones. They may be harmful ones. They may be, if you always feel cursed, if you always feel like something is wrong in your life, yours and your family's life, it's like a generational curse, that keeps going. Bruce Lee was one of those people who feared, I guess not feared, but no, that's not the right one. His dad feared that you know that he used to say that, yeah, like we have a generational curse, and every male child or most of the male children would die in our or something bad would happen to them, and so they tried to fool that spirit by naming Bruce Lee a girl's name when he was born. They called him Lee Jun Fan, which is a girl's name, just to try kind of like fool the spirits that this is not a boy. Things like that, things like that. But anyway, so then I told him, but making them work for you is very bad. You get lots of sin by doing that, or lots of bad karma for those who prefer that kind of language. You know what I mean? It means the same thing, by the way. And jinns never do this for free. You will always have to pay for it at the end. That's true. So whenever you work with a jinn and you make him do stuff for you, there's always a price to pay at the end. So yeah, that's where the whole selling your soul comes from. Because I know the Abrahamic faiths don't really go deep into the details of how those things work, as does Sanatana Dharma or yoga and mysticism, which are far more detailed in these things. But they also get the picture, they do get the picture. But and I would love for like Christianity, for example, to be more aware of the details on how these things happen, and you know the whats and the whys and the whens and the whos and the hows. And just never do this for okay. So I tell him, when you know God, you don't need to deal with jinns for getting anything, either good or bad. Same. And he's like, of course, man. They want to learn from humans sometimes. He said. I said, so. Like, why would you deal with them just because they want to learn from us? Like, they're just going by tendency. So he's like, so teach them. Don't instruct them to do work. Okay, I said, you said it's okay to use them for good, but you're still using them. If you don't want to use them, don't use, he says. I never used mine. So I tell him, bro, I'm saying it is very bad to do this. He said, I never asked. She wanted to help on her own will. Whatever that means. His English is not the best, so he messes it up a lot of the time. But yeah, I kind of try to meet him halfway. I tell him, you're saying it's okay to use them. He says, then don't do. So like he's responding to this one, bro. I'm saying it's very bad to do this. So he says, if you say not okay, then don't do it. So he's kind of missing the point. Like, I'm not telling him that I don't want to do it. I'm telling him that in general it's not good. So I tell him, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking in general. It's not okay for anyone to do this. He says, okay, sure, bro. So you see, guys, this is how he always acts. Whenever I show him something that he's saying that's contradictory, and I'm like, no, like, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not right, because here's why. And he's like, oh, sure, okay, yeah. It's basically he's saying, like, think whatever you want. Yeah, okay. Like whatever, whatever you like. Yeah, whatever you want. Like, whatever works best for you, man. Is basically his position. Very, very dishonest individual. Very incredibly deceiving and dishonest. He's not trying to see if what you're saying is true or what he's saying is true. He's just like, yeah, I say this because that's what I want to say, and I know. And if you want to say something different, then sure, whatever. Like, as long as we don't argue, fine. Okay, I can say whatever I want. You can say whatever you want. Fine. Like, the truth doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he's saying. The truth doesn't really matter. Okay, you want to say this, I want to say that, whatever. And that's very, very disgusting behavior. You know what I mean? It's not so he's not even saying, yeah, like, I got my opinion, you got my opinion. I don't agree with you, and here's why. But if you want to see it that way, bro, like, he's not saying that. I say something, and I'm not just saying something different from him. I'm showing him actually that what he's saying is wrong. I'm not just saying he's wrong. I'm showing him, like, hey, man, what you just said is wrong in Islam. And I was about to show him. Oh, sure, sure. Okay. So anyway, so he's like, oh, okay, sure, bro. Have you ever met any of them? Just asking. So so here he's trying to like change the topic. Like he thinks that I don't like notice when he does this. I notice even without looking or hearing or smelling him. I know what he's intending to do. Like that's how sensitive I am. I don't even have to be on a chat with him to know what he's intending to do. I can sense it even from a distance. So he has nothing on me. So he says. So I say, wait, let me show you from your Quran and Hadiths. He says, yes, I know, but have you met them in real life? I said, of course I have, which is true. Did you talk? Whatever. He's just trying to escape, run away. Ah, ah. Let me get a little drink. Oh yeah. All right. Where is the other? Okay. Let's see, guys. Anyone? Current viewers. Hey, man. We got a current viewer. If you have anything to say, man, just please honor us with a little chat. Because, my my YouTube channel is not really known right now. It's a new one. I used to have one which dates more than 10 years ago, which a lot of people were coming on, but yeah, I don't have any access to that anymore. Oh, two viewers. Nice. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm still not finished. You can stick around. I'm about to show what is wrong with this guy. So, guys, just a reminder, we're talking about the hypocrisy of Muslims. The hypocrisy of Muslims. Okay? Because a whole lot of them, unfortunately, and this is not something that I want, it's just something that I see. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. I'm just bringing the message. I went and I saw all these Muslims, and the vast majority of them, when you start talking to them about matters of truth, it's not even matters of religion. It's just matters of truth. Who said what? What said this? Where is this written? Are you actually saying something that's legitimate? Show me where you found this. All these things, they just become hypocrites, man. Not all of them, but the vast majority. I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm not the only one saying that. And I grew up with them, okay, for 40 damn years. Okay, so let's see. So now I send him these references from religion. So I show him. So yeah, so now he's trying to change the topic. He's trying to ask me like, hey, did you meet them? Like the jinns, did you talk? What do you do? And I'm like, I'm just ignoring him at this point because he's being an idiot and an asshole. I show him Surah Al Jinn, the chapter of the Jinn, right? It's called. And there were men from mankind who sought refuge in men from the Jinn. So they only increased them in burden. This verse clearly condemns humans seeking help or protection from Jinn, indicating it results in more harm and leads astray. So here's my good friend Ahmed, my not so good friend Ahmed. And what do you do? I'm ignoring him and I'm just showing him his shit. Surah Al-An'am, verse 128. O company of jinn, you have misled many of mankind. The people they misled will say, our Lord, some of us benefited from others, but now we have reached our term. So the explanation of this one is here, it's shown that mutual benefit between humans and jinn is ultimately harmful and misleading. Okay? And again, I'm just going to remind you, I don't believe in the Quran. I'm not a Muslim. I don't follow the Quran. Even though the Quran has some things, of course, like every religion has some truth in it. Every religion. I'm not showing him because like another thing that these hypocrites would do is, oh, why are you quoting the Quran? Like I thought you don't believe in it. I'm quoting it to you because your ass believes in it. Okay, that's why I'm quoting it to your ass, to you. Okay, so you're the one who's supposed to believe in it. That's why I'm showing it to you. Anyway, okay, and then I show him this other one, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 102, refers to people's learning sorcery and what was falsely attributed to Sulaiman, Solomon, King Solomon. But the devils disbelieved, teaching people magic. Magic and dealing with devils among the jinn are framed as acts of disbelief, kufr. Again, that's the last sentence is a explanation. It's not the verse itself. The verse is so the verses are always quoted in quotation, right? So here I'm like, okay. So here he finally starts to address what I'm posting. People solely depend on jinn. What it means. So what he's saying here in his English, his version, his Malaysian kind of English or whatever, his version of English, he's saying, oh, what is wrong is actually people depending only on jinns, solely on jinns. Big old quote. Yeah, the AC on. Oh man, it's hard to find a good balance between like the AC. Anyway, people solely depend on jinn. What it means. He's talking about this one. O company of jinn, you have misled many of mankind. The people of the people they misled will say, "Our Lord, some of us benefited from others, but now." Oh, sorry. Oh man. Yeah, that was a little too cold. Anyway. Anyway, okay. So I answer him here. Where does it say solely depends on jinn? So so he's kind of like explaining this verse for me, right? Tell me that it only means if you only depend on jinn, then it's bad. So if you depend on Allah and the jinn, it's okay. Basically, is what he's saying. So I'm asking him, where does it say that? And then I tell him, does it speak only about those who solely depend on jinns, or is it speaking about anyone who uses jinn? And here he goes on another rant, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, you gotta stop that. You gotta stop that bullshit. So I can I can kind of play his audio for you guys. Let me just switch this to the speaker.
It's like you don't depend on anything else. You just depend on the genes. For example, you don't believe what God gives you, and how do you say that? Like you don't rely on your Lord first. You know, you just rely on the genes to help you, for example. But that case, like I'm explaining before, it's not like that. You have to know your intentions. And sorry, I'm eating breakfast. And for example, the same, these things you cannot understand directly, like in your own hand. Like I said before, yes, true from the heart, you know. And I'm not trying to see, you not master it or something, but you have to go through your heart.
This guy Ahmed, he always says what he's not saying. Oh, I'm not saying this. Oh, I'm not saying that. Oh, I'm not saying this. Oh, I'm not saying that. Bro, just say what you're saying, bro. What the hell's wrong with you? Oh, I'm not saying that you don't master the heart, man. Dude, did I say that that's what you're saying? Just talk, man. Just say what you have to say. He's this guy's paranoid. This guy's possessed. This guy's possessed for sure, for real. Seriously, he's possessed. I just can't deal with people like that, man. Were you a Muslim before? Yes, I was. D.O. Brandon, thank you very much. Yes, I was. I don't know if you're still there. Hope you are. Sorry, I just saw your chat. I don't even know when you sent that. But yes, I used to be a Muslim when I was very young. Some people say that I was never a Muslim because I left Islam. I don't even know which one is true anymore, guys. I'm just okay. Some people say, yeah, you left Islam, and some people say, you know what, you were never really a Muslim because you left Islam. So I don't even know which one is true. I do know that I come from a Muslim family. I do know that. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. But anyways, uh, I don't know, guys. Can you see the chat? Can Are you able to see the chat? Uh, the window of like the WhatsApp window. I don't know because I'm checking the live and it's not really showing. Oh man, yeah. I hope. I don't know, man. I hope it's showing that. But yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue, guys. So yeah, because there's a lag. There's a lag in time with the live. So yeah, it's not really showing. Anyway, guys, let's continue. So here I'm. Mhm. So okay, yeah, I don't really know what that is. I hope it's showing everything. But anyway, so yeah, so you heard my friend Ahmed speaking. I'm gonna let him speak a little bit more in the audio that he sent, so you can already see like the hypocrisy.
If your head, you won't understand. The same thing, like, for example, right? I mean, if you need help for no, this is a lot of people, Muslims are doing it. You know, when we like, especially if you want to pray and we ask someone else to pray, a saint, for example, people would say this, hey, this is haram, this is shirk, you're asking for a person, you know, but actually the intention was you're asking a prayer to your Lord. Through that, I mean, you're asking a prayer to your Lord. I mean, through that person, that holy person. That is the intention, because the Lord will also listen to the holy person, for example. But of course, at the same time, you have to pray for yourself. That's the intention, right? So the same thing with when you ask people for money, for example, you want to borrow money, right? You can, you know, why not we say, hey, this is shirk, you know, this is haram. You cannot ask for people. You cannot ask for a person. This is haram. You should ask for your Lord only. You know, how can that's possible? So of course we ask for Lord help me from the money and stuff, but in the end you also have to go through your Lord. I mean through someone you know, like materialistic in order to get money. You know, so you have to sometimes we have to analyze the situation, which one it is haram, which one it is you know, based on your intentions. If your intentions are bad, and it is all haram, man. You know, if you say it in the context of haram, if you say in the context of general, then that is a sin, man. If you're doing bad stuff, bad intentions, and you know, that's what I'm trying to say. Of course, these things needs from the heart, like I said. Don't just uh, you know, translate it directly. I said this many times.
Yeah. So Mister from the heart keeps saying that you know what, as long as you work with God from your heart, doesn't matter what you do. You know, like your heart is all that matters. So here I'm like, I didn't ask for an explanation, man. Where does it say this? So I asked him again, like, where does it say that it's okay to use jinn for a good purpose? You didn't tell me. A saint is not a jinn. We in Catholicism also ask the saints to pray for us because they are with God. And here he says, oh yeah. Anyway, he just keeps on babbling all the whole time. I'm not talking about black magic. Yeah, yeah. So here he talks about, yeah, no, you know, the verse that you sent is just talking about black magic. That's the last one I sent. I'm not talking about black magic. You said if you solely depend on jinns, then it's wrong. I asked you to show me where does it say this. Again, I asked him for the third time. And here he keeps talking again.
That's why I said, like in the based on the Quran says, you have to control them. It didn't say directly. That's what, because the things are bad. They have bad intention. Usually, sometimes they are very rich creature and very
Just nonsense. Just talking nonsense, guys. I don't want to bore you with this, but he so basically he never answers the question. I tell him again, you didn't show me where it says this. He goes on talking it more and more. And then I'm like, hold on, I'll send you a better audio. Yeah, cause this one was not a clear one.
Said it's okay to use jinns. You said this.
Yeah, there was some cutting from my voice on that audio. So I sent him another audio, telling him, hey man,
You said it's okay to use jinns. Okay, and now you're backtracking. You're saying, oh no, I'm just saying like it's okay to control them. No, bro, you said it's okay to use them if it's for a good cause. Okay, I showed you the sources that say it's not okay to use jinns ever, ever, either for good or for bad. And you said no. What it really says it's not okay to only depend on jinns. Okay, I asked you, show me where does it say this. I asked you at least 3 times and you still didn't tell me. Okay,
so I asked him.
you said it's
I'm like, hey man, I asked you at least 3 times and you didn't tell me. Because every time he answers, you just talk about different stuff. He never comes out and says, yeah, it actually doesn't say this, or yes, it says this, and here's where it says this. Like you heard, he's just like, yeah, man, you have to understand it from your heart, man. Like, come on, like, yeah, like, so he's not even honest enough to say it does not say this. It does not say this in the in the Quran, in the Hadith, and all these things. He never comes out and says, yeah, it does not say this. I'm just the one who's saying what I think. So this thing of always speaking from your, like, understanding things with your heart, why the hell do you even have a Quran then? Why the hell do you even have a Hadith then? If anything you understand from your heart is what goes. Like, these guys are overly worshipping the heart, and I'm not saying like the heart is not worth listening to. I'm saying if your heart is not in the right place, your heart itself can deceive you because your heart is not open. Your heart is not clear. The eyes of your heart are not open. And this is not even about the heart, bro. I'm not even telling him. Is it true that you can? Is it okay if you can use jinns? I'm asking him. Listen, you said that we can use jinns. You're the Muslim, not me. So please show me in your religion, in your Quran or Hadith or whatever, where it says this. Are you just making it up? It doesn't say it anywhere. Just tell me. Or does it say it somewhere? Show me. That's it. And he cannot. So anyway, he keeps talking here again. I don't know what he's.
Come on, man. I don't want to talk about this. It's like.
Okay. Yeah, this is the good part. So when I kind of press him on this, like you didn't answer me, here's what he says.
Come on, man. I don't want to talk about this. It's like. I just explained about the food.
Of course, he doesn't want to talk about it. Of course, because he can see that he has no answer. And if he was a decent guy, he could say, hey man, you know what? I have no answer. I cannot defend what I said. It doesn't exist anywhere in my religion. It's just what I think. At least if he says that, at least I can have some respect for him. Not no respect at all, you know? But he cannot. He cannot come to his. He cannot make himself like honest enough to say, you know what, I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass, man.
Explaining about the photo of wearing turban and some, I know, posture. I don't want to talk about this, you know. Yeah. That's why I said, come to Malaysia, you will understand. From here, it's hard and you will create confusion, right? And please, I don't want to talk about it. I think many times I don't want to talk about because you asked at first, so I have to respond at least some of them. But this is too long and it will be complicated for you to understand. That's why I said come to Malaysia. But of course, it seems that you're not coming, But I'm okay with that. But in order to get better explanation of this, come meet easier.
See this guy, man, and this is what he used to tell me even in the past. Whenever we started having these arguments, I didn't have a problem with his religion per se, even though I do. I'm talking. I'm like mentioning and pointing out his lack of honesty. Tell me, where does this say this in your religion? Tell me, like, this kind of stuff. And he's like, yeah, man, I don't want to talk about this. Come to Malaysia, you'll understand when you come. Like, dude, it's very, like, my question is very simple. You said something, and I'm telling you, show me the reference. Is Islam an oral tradition? No, you have books. You have the Quran, you have the Hadith, and your scholars always, when they argue, they show the Hadith, they show the sources, verse so and so, chapter so and so, book so and so, Imam so and so, Hadith so and so. And this guy, this little loser, whenever I ask him, hey man, you're the one who said something, and it's not me. You said it, and I know it doesn't exist in Islam. But you know what? Maybe I'm wrong because I'm not the Muslim. You're the Muslim. Give me the reference. Oh man, I don't feel like talking about it, man. Just come to Malaysia, man. You're gonna say you have to feel with your heart. You gotta understand with your heart, man. I mean, how can anyone respect people like this? Seriously, seriously. So Muslims, never cry Islamophobia again, because Christians, we don't say Christianophobia. We don't even have, the term doesn't even exist. Christianophobia, Buddhistophobia, Hindusophobia, whatever. Islamophobia, now it's a thing. Of course, because the deep state created it for you, just like conspiracy theory. That's why because Muslims go hand in hand with the whole uh, deep state stuff. In fact, Masonry and Islam come from the same source. There's a whole video about that by Sam Shamoon, and some other guy, well-renowned guy also. I forgot his name. Talking about that and giving every single reference. Like, yes, this is actually fact. It's not from Islamic sources. So my guy here, Ahmad, he's one of those Muslims who follow that Sufi Islam, and like Muhammad always existed, and like Muhammad is like more than just a man, and like all that nonsense, like it's like magic. It's like Islam mixed up with magic. That's what he follows, and it's okay, bro. I'm not saying why is he following it. No, I'm not even saying that. Okay, I'm just saying that's what he follows. But at least he should be honest when he's talking to his friend, to his supposedly friend. You should be honest with everyone when you talk about a subject. Just be honest in general. You're not even able to be honest with your friend, bro. Like that's how crazy is that? When you should be honest even with a stranger when you're talking about these things. But anyway, so I told him, you said something and you're not showing the source. And he just keeps talking whatever nonsense. I don't want to. So here I'm like, hey man, I'm just repeating everything I said. And so here I'm like, if you should only depend on your heart, then there is no need for any Quran and Hadith or any words. Just like I said earlier. So don't speak about the heart every time you are caught saying something that's not in the books, because how convenient that is. How convenient that is. I can never make a mistake now. I can never make a mistake, guys. I can make myself look like the absolute expert on my religion, even though I don't know more than half of it, at least. Anytime I'm caught talking nonsense about my religion, or that I can't defend my religion, or that there's some holes in my religion, some mistakes in my religion, my immediate defense would always be, come on, man, you have to use your heart, bro. You have to use your heart so you can understand, man. Like, this religion is perfect, man. Like, look, if I said something that sounds crazy to you, it's not me who's talking crazy. It's not me who's hasn't done the research. If I can't defend what you're asking me about my religion, or asking me to show you some source from where I got these things that I'm telling you about my religion, it's not me, man. It's not my religion. It's you. You're not using your heart, bro. That's the problem. You're not using your heart. And by the way, I'm not saying that you don't know how to use your heart. I'm not saying that. You know how to use your heart, bro. You know how to use your heart. It's just that you don't. It's funny, man. Like, oh man. It's like, you're just not using your heart, man. It is nonsense, bro. It is complete nonsense. You know? Like, they're exempt from ever being wrong, from ever making a mistake. No. It's just the other person who is not using their heart, man. Guys, please tell me, is this what we call arrogance, or is it just maybe I'm not understanding. Maybe there's a religion somewhere out there in the world where none of its followers can ever be wrong. Ever. As soon as you're part of that religion, you're never wrong. Doesn't matter what you say. Doesn't matter what you say. You can say anything, and it's always justified. Even if I say the craziest thing. How can you say this craziest thing, man? This doesn't exist in your religion. Hey, man, you can't understand because you're not part of my religion, bro. Come on, man. Like my prophet, man. He talks about the heart, bro. You gotta you gotta feel things with your heart, man. Like, it doesn't matter if you read no. If you read something saying no. If your heart says yes, it's yes. Doesn't matter what's written, man. But at the same time, we follow what's written, right? We follow what's written, of course, because we're Muslims. We follow the Quran. But if we say some nonsense that doesn't exist in the Quran, bro, it's not us saying nonsense. It's just it's because you can't feel with the heart, man. It's all about the heart, bro. It's all about the heart. Guys, honestly, if I was a judge, bro, you would win first place for the champions of hypocrisy. The champions by far, man. Like, the devil would look at you and feel ashamed. See the devil, who's like the hypocrite, the liar, and everything. He would feel ashamed looking at you, like, guys, I'm no match for these people, bro. The devil would say this about you guys. I'm no match for these people. Even I don't know how to be a hypocrite like that, bro. Like that's like a whole other level of hypocrisy, man. Like, I was never taught how to be a hypocrite like that. That's what the devil would say when he looks at you. It's too much, guys. It's too much. Anyway, let's continue. And by the way, guys, I don't know why, but my screen is only showing my camera. It's not showing the background of my computer. I don't know why, guys, and I apologize. I thought it did because I was trying to show you the chat. Sorry, I was trying to show you the chat between me and my friend Ahmed, but it's okay. At least I'm reading it out, so you can know and you can follow. But anyways, so I'm telling him, if you should only depend on your heart, yeah, there's no need for any Quran or any Hadith or any words. So don't speak about the heart every time you are caught saying something that's not in your books. Read my audios. Yeah. So at this point, he's getting all stressed out. He can't even read my audios because he knows he's full of shit. I'll call you soon. Let me get in the car. I'm like, first read my audios, bro, before calling me. Okay. And then he reads my audios like, yeah, man, it is very more easy to explain with you besides me. No, it's not, bro. I'm just asking for a reference, bro. Seriously. If you cannot come, then it's okay. I'm like, finish the audios before responding. Yeah, because he was not even respond. He was not even done with my audios before responding. Yeah, man, I'm not wrong. Of course, you're not wrong, Ahmed. Of course. How? Oh my God, how can you be wrong, bro? You're God, bro. Of course you think you're God, man. You think you're. Oh my God. Of course you can't be wrong, Ahmed. Come on, man. Did I make you? Did I make you think that I was saying that you're wrong? Oh my God, I'm so sorry, bro. Of course you're never wrong, bro. You're never wrong, bro. You're never wrong. Come on. You cannot be wrong. How? It's blasphemous to say that Ahmed is wrong, bro. About anything. About anything. Of course you're not wrong. So he goes on and says, and the person who experiences it knows. Knows what? Knows that the Quran says it's wrong, even though you say it's right. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? And then he goes on saying, and you have your experience. I cannot take that away from you. Okay. And the ones I have, you cannot take away from me. Yeah, this is some spiritual nonsense mumbo jumbo right there. I was not talking about any experience. I was talking about what the Quran says. I was very clear on that. And I said this again. I told him, where in the Quran does it say what you said about solely depending on jinns? And not once did he say, actually, he doesn't say that in the Quran, it's just my experience. He never said that. He just keeps saying, yeah, I know it's true, I know it's true, I know it's true. Bro, answer the question. Where does it say? Anyway, you see guys, you see how this is becoming really annoying, I'm sure even to you watching this video. Because the whole time, like, that's just going on. It's just back and forth, back and forth. Tell me, like a crybaby. Like a faggot crybaby wimp, little bitch. That's what he is. Seriously. I'll try to find, but it takes time. Oh my God, it takes time. Okay. You see? So now he's telling me, I will try to find, but it takes time. I don't know where, but it is there, direct or directly. What the hell are you talking about? And then he goes on, oh, it's raining here. I'm in China now. Suddenly I become a Chinese. Just trying to talk nonsense, bro. To avoid. From this, and then he like refers to the question I asked about the posture of the yoga posture. He's like, from this question, I already know what you are going to do, and I was like, okay, because you are my friend. And I'm like, that's not what I asked you right now, bro. And then he's like, he's referring to his, he's actually responding to like when he said ha 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 first time. He's like, from this my comment, I already know where this messages will lead to. And I'm like, oh my God, bro. And then he goes, I am only here because you are my friend. Of course, now he's trying to act like have pity on me, bro. Like, I'm just a nice guy, man. I let you talk like this to me because I'm your friend and because you're my friend, and I don't really want to talk about this, but I'm just because you're my friend, man. I'm still here, bro. Like, bro, feel me, bro, from my heart, man. Like, doesn't matter if I say some nonsense about Islam. Like, you can't call me out on it, bro. Just feel it in your heart. That's basically what he's saying. I'm like, lead to what? You saying things that don't exist in Islam? Because he said, I knew, like, from this my comment, I already knew that what this messages will lead to. And I'm like, lead to what? You're saying things that don't exist in Islam? And I laugh low, because this is what you're doing. And then he says, lead to your old habits, arguing, debating. Ah, now we're getting into this. Now the hypocrisy is going up levels. He's leveling up in his hypocrisy. His hypocrisy was not that extreme, although it was pretty extreme, quite extreme. Now it's going up levels. Like it's not going down, guys. It's never going down. It's just going up, just getting better and better. His hypocrisy is like wine. Like the older it gets, the stronger it gets. Later, your old habits, arguing, debating, and I'm like, okay. So at this point, of course, you can imagine I'm really, really uh, uh, irritated with his hypocrisy. So I'm telling him, can you at least be honest and admit it? And he's like, I thought it was over and you changed. So he's trying to tell me, like, I thought you changed. I thought your old habits of arguing and debating were not there anymore, man. So now he's trying to tell me that something is wrong with you, bro. Something is wrong with you. Like, you're always wanting to debate and argue. Like, that's your problem, bro. It's not about me, like, not telling you the reference of what I said. It's about you, man. You just want to argue the whole time. You see how manipulative this son of a bitch is. And then I go and tell him, my old habits? I shouldn't ask you to show proof for your religious claim. The problem is me. And then I go in, so I go on and say, you thought I changed? Bro, you're the one who's, again, being dishonest. You said something that doesn't exist in Islam. And now you're blaming me for not being okay with it? And I'm laughing. And I'm like, dude, really? And he's like, I told you many times I don't want to argue and debate. So I'm like, so I'm the problem now, right? Because I'm not appreciating your lack of honesty. Wow, okay. Well, what kind of logic? And he's like, yeah, man. So it's over, yeah. Say whatever you want about me, it's okay. That's what he. And by the way, guys, that's what he always says. But you said some. So I'm telling him. But you said something. So I'm telling you, just show me where it says it in the Quran. Why is that so hard for you to do, man? And he's like, but hope we will be back to normal. And I'm like, bro, I'm way more than normal. It is you who's acting crazy, for real. When you make a claim, you have to show where you're getting it from. Do you agree? And he's like, I'm busy with my work, bro, sorry. And I'm like, do you agree, yes or no? It's just a yes or no, man. And he's like, normal person, don't debate all the time. How? Hope you have a good day, bro. Yeah, so now he's just trying to show himself as the good guy, you know what I mean? And then I tell him, normal person doesn't. So he says normal person don't debate all the time. So I told him normal person doesn't say something as if it's true and then refuses to show where it's written in his religious book. Normal person doesn't have a problem admitting to being wrong. Normal person doesn't try to make the other person who's questioning him look like he's the one with the problem when he's just asking for honesty and clarity. If you were honest and showed proof for your claim, there wouldn't have been any debate in the first place. The problem is your lack of honesty, not me debating you. He says, "Sure, man. Hope this clears back to normal." And I'm like, "It'll only clear back to normal when you start answering with honesty, my boy. Are you willing to answer honestly so things can get back to normal?" So now he's just talking nonsense.
No, I said it like a long time ago, or many times. These things can be talk when you're here. It's okay if you don't want to come to Malaysia. I'll go to Chiang Mai. Then talk like this is easier. It's more clear, It's more clear and not confusing. Through here, it's very hard, man. Especially the.
Yeah, so you see, it's it hurts. It literally hurts my ears when I hear this loser talk, because he's still not answering anything I asked, and he's still insisting that it's hard to talk about, man. I gotta come see you, or you gotta come see me, man. Oh my god, just gotta feel your heart, bro. Oh my god, he's such a disgrace, man. He is such a loser, such a oh man. It's sad, bro. It's sad. Seriously, it's annoying, it's frustrating, but it's sad, man. To have a people like this, to have people are actually, and he's not the only one, bro. He's not the only one. A whole lot of Muslims are like this. I never seen any other religion having people like this. Honestly, honestly, never, never. Okay, so I sent him like some other audios which he never listens to, of course, and he just writes, "Hope you will find something to do, something to keep you busy, like work." Wow. So because I'm not working at the moment, yeah, because I left my previous job and I'm looking for something else. Now he's so you see what he's saying, man. It's the master manipulator, bro. Guys, tell me, does this sound like a pure narcissist or no? This sounds like a devil, bro. A devil. I go to this guy. Hey man, how you doing? I just want to get some news from you, man. You okay? And I'm like, yeah, man. Listen, I just left my job, and here's why. And I'm gotta find another job now. Oh man, it's okay. Hope you'll be okay. And now he uses that against me. Hope you find something to do, like something to keep you busy, like work. And then he says, when you're out of work, we think a lot and find something to do, end up doing something like this. With his perfect English, his beautiful, perfect English. What he's trying to say is, when you're not working, you're just gonna start wasting your time with arguing about nothing. That's what he's saying. It feels engaged. So he's trying to tell me like when you're working, like you feel engaged, and you're focused on something good, and you're not gonna just argue about this nonsense. That's his defense. That's his defense. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, man. Wow. Never thought about that, bro. Never thought about that. Ahmed, I'm ready to become Muslim now. I swear. Please tell your master I will take the Shahada. I will come to Malaysia and I'll take the Shahada. And so I told him, Ahmed, I have a problem with hypocrites like you, whether I'm busy or not. Do you understand this or no? I have a problem with when my friend is being a dishonest hypocrite. So he goes on and says, when we get nothing to do and feel something like missing, we will do something to keep busy. Yep. Guys, this is the piece of shit who I call my childhood friend. This is it. I'm so glad that I talked about this live publicly, because honestly, guys, and I would not be angry at you if you pity me for having grown up with such friends. Yeah, please pity me. Like if I was not me, I would pity me. Like, bro, how can you have these kind of friends, man, and call them my childhood friends? And like, poor you, man. Like, where were the people who really love you and like are just honest with you, just honest with you? I'm not asking for much, man. I'm not asking you to agree with me all the time. Just be honest, bro. Just be honest. I just want to be with honest people. I don't. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing. Just be honest, man. No, never heard about that. So these people never grew up with honesty or honest people. I mean, I can tell. There's a whole people like this called the Muslims. The vast majority of them are like this. Okay? You know how I know? Because the vast majority of Muslims I spoke to, and I come from a Muslim country, grow up in a Muslim country, engaged with Muslims all around the world. This is the kind of behavior they always give. For 40 years of my life on this planet, and I'm not the only one. There is not one person who can tell me, after engaging with Muslims for so many years, say that, you know what, man, Muslims are really honest, bro. I love Muslims, man. They would just tell you the truth up front. They would tell you what they think and what they know and what they don't know up front, man. They never pretend to know something they don't know. I never heard anyone utter those sentences before I just utter them now. Never. In my 40 years of existence. And I'm sure, and I know that none of you and no not anyone in the entire globe has heard those sentences being uttered unless you've heard it from me just now or if you utter them back in your head or say them. So guys, thank you for joining me on the first episode of The Hypocrisy of Muslims. I might be, I'm surely going to be doing a lot more episodes of this in the future, because the hypocrisy of Muslims has to be, or the hypocrisy of anyone, but in this case, Muslims take first place by far, by far. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be exposing that. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be showing that to the entire world until they deal with their hypocrisy, fix themselves, or if they like it and they think it's that hypocrisy is part of their religion, because of course it is, because even their prophet was like that. Let everyone know what we are dealing with when we hear the word Islam, when we see this religion called Islam. We will know that this is what we're dealing with. Thank you very much.